I decided to, go for study abroad really for just to satisfy my intellectual curiosity. It was a mix of feelings leaving home. I was both excited and anxious. Excited for the opportunities ahead, but anxious for the uncertainties that I know these opportunities or this new adventure that I was getting on was going to put on my way. When I left home, it was very, very warm, and I remember coming out of the airport here in Columbus and feeling that cold. I definitely remember actually running back into the airport and changing because I didn't know it was that cold outside. I wasn't expecting graduate school to be this, stressful and rough at times in terms of the amount of readings and writings, but I had to quickly adapt to my new situations, and then it took time, but it eventually happened. I think the first community that I identified with was the FullBright Scholars Association because I came on Fulbright. Someone took me to African Student Union where I saw, many African students. I came for a degree and I found a wife here in Athens, Ohio. My name is Omaru Abdullahi Balarabe, but people usually really call me Oumar or Oumar. I am a graduate student here at Ohio University. I'm finishing my PhD in higher education and student affairs. I am currently what they call a doctoral candidate, meaning that I have completed my comprehensive exams and defended my dissertation proposal, which and collected my dissertation data I'm currently analyzing and writing, so hoping to finish up very soon. Growing up was definitely an interesting phenomenon for me. Being born in Benin Republic in West Africa, West Francophone Africa, to Nigerian parents. I grew up in between Benin Republic and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Ethnically identify as Hausa. So I also do identify as Dendi on my dad's side. I grew up in a very large family. If I have to zoom and talk about one specific memory, was probably as a Muslim growing up, some of the festivities like Eid, for example. I recall during Eid when my dad used to take us to a tailor and would make sure everyone at the house have the same material. You wear the same clothes. So I miss those days where, with my cousins and my own siblings, and even you look at our mothers, also they are dressed the same way. My dad, his two younger brothers, they're also dressed in the same way. Usually during lunch or dinner time, right? The way we usually eat in groups in the same bowl, and the way they used to do it, you eat in age categories and genders, right? So you see me with my younger brothers who are around the same age, 5 or 6 of us, sitting around a bowl of food and eating. But when you come around dinner time or lunch time, you see 6, 7 different circles. All these things are, and no more there. Sometimes I play those memories in my head and just laugh from time to time. Back in 2011, when I started my undergraduate studies, I did remember vividly really writing on a piece of paper a number of goals that I wanted to achieve. I said graduate with honors. I said, get a master's degree and get Chevening scholarship to go to UK, or get the FullBright Scholarship, even though at the time I didn't really even know what FullBright Scholarship was exactly. One of my high school teachers actually mentioned FullBright to me as far back as in my high school years and told me that, when you graduate, you go to the university, there is this very competitive and prestigious scholarship fully sponsored by the U.S. Government that you can apply for. Keep that in mind. A year before I graduate, I started the Fulbright application, and I put my application together and submitted everything that they needed, and I was selected for the Fulbright Scholarship. It was overwhelming, that process, because I had a lot of information coming from Ohio University, particularly from the International Student Offices, and also OP, the Ohio Program of Intensive English, where I was coming from, which was my primary site, here at Ohio University. They were also sending me document and paperwork. The U.S. Embassy also on the Fulbright side A lot of people were coming on mine. So I had a lot coming from different directions. My first experience in Athens, Ohio, really started the following day. When I arrived, the following day we kick off with orientations, right? It was the spring orientation, so we were not that many, and the university was on break. The university was very empty. It was only mostly a few of us going through that new international student orientations, and I had a fellow Fulbrighter who came from Guinea, and then other international student from Asia, and probably China, Japan, and there was some from Saudi Arabia, Yemen. A number of us. It was mostly us going through orientation activities for 3 or 4 days. We were mostly doing things together, and they're also making sure that we do paperwork. We're aware of immigrations policies that apply to us. We had some social during those orientations where we played games. We went bowling. We went to, I believe, the cinema. We also went grocery shopping at Walmart. It was definitely a wonderful experience being taken around Athens. Part of that orientation is to socialize new international students into the host institution culture, but also the mainstream Athens culture. Athens, Ohio definitely has a vibrant international community. There's a brassage of many cultures. I did not have difficulty adjusting or adapting or interacting with people. And it might be because I was born on the frontier. I say I've been really interacting with people from various cultural backgrounds way before I came to the US. It wasn't a lot of hustle, right? But at the same time, you learn certain language of being sensitive to other cultures, and there's always a sense in which someone else from a different cultural orientation or background, will see you from their own lens as you interact with them, or as they interact with you. Perhaps I've increased my intercultural competence by the virtue of constantly interacting with members of different communities and different cultures at Ohio University and in the US. I meet people, or I meet various cultures, usually through my involvement in student organizations. I was the president of FullBright Scholarship Association. I also was the president of the African Student Union here at Ohio University. Was also involved in the Muslim Student Association too. Another setting is really events that student organization have on campus. During the I-Week, International Week, the International Student Union had the IDENA that brings also folks from different countries together around the African night, right? African Heroes Night. Many cultural night that student organization put together, on campuses also have served as spaces that allow me to meet individuals from different cultures. It's also important to rest. I always carve out time to also take care of myself. As someone who identifies with many minoritized identity, from being Black and first-generation college students and so many things, there's a lot of stereotypes threat. There's also a lot of low self-esteem sometimes, and imposter syndrome. Many times I try on a daily basis to listen to positive self-affirmation that really reinforce a lot of positive, qualities that I, think I do possess, or I need to keep reminding myself. You wake up, you do what you need to do, you come to school, you go work out, and the routine repeats itself. One specific cultural value is community. Right, I value community. I value community a lot. This is an element that cut across African cultures in general. We usually tend to be in communities, or neat or close communities in general. Where I really find that when I came to Ohio University in 2016 was definitely, particularly with the Gambians that I found here. We used to drink attaya, this pretty much brew green tea together. And that, sometimes you come and find it's just a small pot, but there's 6, 7, or 8 of us drinking from that same pot. That is really just a symbolic act. The quality time we share sometime after class, That is really what is of value there. That community that you provided, instead of you being alone in your room doing something else. Of course, there are moments where you need to focus, you need concentration, but most of the time, I'm able to do even a lot of work, even when we are 6, 7, and sitting. I think the first community that I identified with was the FullBright Scholars Association, because I came on FullBright. Someone took me to African Student Union, where I saw, many African students. And in a lot of ways, the Fridays meeting, for example, for many of us, provided a space where you come and just, take some energy, you feel like home from time to time.
Very important to tell the world through social media about what we do. I even made a video there that I post the videos, so I'm really happy about that.
So that's what I miss about school.
But ASU definitely should feel like home for all of us. Being away from home definitely means sometimes being in uncomfortable situations. There are also, challenges that shape who you are and mold you into a person that you are becoming. So I usually frame it and say it is mostly a journey of who I was and who I am now and who I am becoming. I miss a number of things, about homes, from a sense of community, food. I miss praying in congregation, right, as a Muslim, and I miss also hearing the call to prayer. To prospective international students, I would say, study abroad can be an exciting experience, depending on where you find yourself and how willing you are to experience, your new environment. Based on my own experience, I think it goes beyond just taking classes or just the academics. It's also an opportunity for you, depending on your environment, to experience a different, both academic culture, mainstream culture, and also meet new people, new set of people. I would say do not take your study abroad experience lightly. Make the best of every experience that comes your way. Beyond your classes, just go out and have a little bit of fun, meet new people. Athens has been a great home for me for the past 6 years, and I've had a lot of wonderful experiences and memories that I will carry with me everywhere I go, for sure.